Hello again, and today we have 1 week till Christmas. It's so exciting. And today I want to share with you my favorite traditional Christmas carol. It was the first carol that was heard over the airwaves. This carol is O Holy Night. Now, it took a little journey before it even got to the airwaves, and I want to share with you that story. And then afterwards, I want to share with you just what the power is in the words of the song and the beauty behind it. So let's get with the journey of the song. There was a French priest who in 1843 wanted a poem written for his Christmas Mass. So he asked a gentleman who was Placide Cappeau if he would write a poem. Now, Placide was in and out of church at this point. He wasn't really in church, but kind of. And so this was not why he was asked. He was asked because he was a famous poet and or known for being a very good poet. And so this is why the priest asked him. Placide took this very seriously. He did a lot of contemplation on the birth of Christ. And so he wrote O Holy Night. But even himself knew that there just had to be more to this song or to this poem. And he asked a friend of his, Adolphe Adams, to write music. Now, the ironic thing about Adams was he wouldn't have even celebrated Christmas because he was a Jew. But he himself also took the request and he set O Holy Night to music. It was sung and played in Mass and Christmas Mass, and it grew in popularity with the French people. They loved this song. Well, soon Placide Cappeau left the church completely. And when this happened, the people started thinking, should we even sing this song? And then they realized and found out that Adolphe Adams was a Jew, and they're like, we cannot have this song played in Mass. So they banned it from the church. But the French people still loved it, and the French people continued to sing O Holy Night. Well, about 10 years down the road, there was a gentleman, John Sullivan Dwight, and he was a songwriter and an abolitionist, and he loved the carol, and he wanted it put to English. So he put it into English so that he could use it and for the American people to hear it. Now, he was really, not only was he touched by the story of his Christ's birth, but he was touched by the third verse, which says, your love is law and your gospel is peace. Chains shall you break, for our slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. This verse was so powerful to him because he was an abolitionist, and he wanted people to understand the importance of not enslaving people and how that our slave is our brother, and that really the heart of God, he talks about in Isaiah 58, is that all oppression should cease. And so he brought this song to America, he translated it, and it also grew in popularity at the time more in the North. Well then, 1906, there was a young professor who was also the assistant to Thomas Edison, and he was working on a microphone type thing so that he could send voices over airway where Morse code could usually reach. Well, he had been working on this invention, and sure enough, he completed it, and when he completed it, he actually read Luke 2, the Christmas story, over the airways, and then when he was finished, he picked up his violin and he played O Holy Night. This was a phenomenon because nobody had ever heard a voice over airwaves, and radio ship operators were picking this up. Anybody who had these type of radios that would receive Morse code, they were all of a sudden hearing the Gospel of Luke, and they were hearing O Holy Night. And all at this point they could hear was Morse code. So this was amazing to people. So this is a little bit of the journey of how O Holy Night also grew in such popularity and have been so loved for over the years by many people. Well, one thing I love about O Holy Night is the first verse kind of sets up where we are at. It says, long lay the world in sin and arrow pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. It is setting up the scene that, man, we are lost and desperate in our sin. We're long lay. We're hoping, we're wishing. And the people of Israel had been waiting for a very long time. And later on the verse it says, the weary world rejoices, and yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. So I envisioned the people of Israel waiting for hundreds and hundreds of years, and this visual came to my mind. If you've ever been in a theater waiting for a musical performance or a theatrical performance, all of a sudden the lights go dim and it's dark, and the audience is waiting. And it is a waiting of anticipation that's so thick in the air. It's like you could almost hear the silence. And so they're waiting for this actor or this performer to step out on the stage and deliver something that they can't wait to hear. Okay, that's great and that's fun and that's good for 5 minutes. But the people of Israel were waiting in silence and darkness. And there was an anticipation. There was a great anticipation. But then it went on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they are weary. They are tired. They are wanting to see their Savior, and it's getting exhausting. But then on the other hand, the actor, switching back to the theater, is behind the stage, and there's this anticipation on their part that is thick as well. And they're ready to step forth and bring a performance with excitement. And on their part, a lot of nervousness. Almost you could hear the heartbeat in the silence behind the stage or behind the curtains. And again, flipping over, Jesus has been waiting behind the curtains of time, and he can't wait to get on the stage. No nervousness here, of course, but his heart is beating for you, and he wants to step on that stage and say, here I am. I am going to give you your soul's worth. I am here to redeem you. I am here to save you. I'm here to save your life. I'm here to give you a new life. I'm here to turn it around. And then he steps on stage. And this is what this first verse is setting up for us to see. And what does it say when it comes to the chorus? It says, fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angels' voices. It is bringing us such awe of what he is about to do that it should draw us to our knees. And also it says after it tells, the second verse tells all about the story. It sets up the story of his birth. And then it says, behold your king. Before him lowly bend. Behold your king. Before him lowly bend. Humble ourselves. Now when Jesus stepped out on the stage of time in the world, and he was saying, here I am here to rescue you. I'm also here to change your life. I am here to give you love, but I also want you to go love the world. And this is the third verse of this song. It says, truly he has taught us to love one another. His law is love. Okay, he's coming out and he says, listen, now the law is love. Now the gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for our slave is our brother. And in his name, all oppression shall cease. Jesus was saying, I'm coming to give you worth, and I'm coming to pour out my love in way of giving my life. Now you turn around and you do the same thing. We have got to stop enslaving our brother. We have got to stop not treating people the right way. And really, again, as I had said earlier, if you would read, I would say go and read Isaiah 58 after you hear this song and you're listening and you're reflecting. Because the people of God were saying, oh God, we're fasting. Look at what things we're doing for you. I mean, we fast day and night. He's saying, no, your fasting is not acceptable because you are oppressing your workers. You are not taking care of the poor. You are not treating each other right. My new law is going to be, and his law even then was, what are you going to do to serve? How are you going to care for the people around you? I have stepped out on stage to give your soul worth, to change your life. How are you going to distribute my love to the world and make sure they understand who I am? I hope this gives you, awe this season. Just an awe of who God is and what He has done, and the hope of what He's going to do through you to help and love the world.